Finding a date for high school prom is like trying to locate a unicorn in a haystack. If the haystack were filled with awkward teenagers, and the unicorn was, well, a socially acceptable way to ask someone to go with you. I mean, let's be real here. Prom is the pinnacle of high school experiences, the grand finale of teenage awkwardness, and the last chance to make a memorable mistake before you graduate and enter the real world, where you can make even bigger mistakes, like forgetting to pay your taxes. So, there I was, sitting in the cafeteria, surrounded by my friends who were all too busy planning their promposals like they were orchestrating a Broadway musical. "I'm going to spell out prom in giant letters made of cupcakes," one of them exclaimed, while another was busy printing out a life-sized cutout of their crush's face to hold up at the football game. Meanwhile, I was over here, contemplating whether it was more socially acceptable to ask someone out via text or to just slip a note into their locker like it was 1995. Now, let's talk about the pressure of finding a date. It's not just about who you want to go with, it's about who will actually say yes. I mean, I could have asked my crush, Sarah, who I've been secretly admiring from afar. But what if she said no? My heart would shatter into a million pieces, and I'd have to spend the rest of the year avoiding her in the hallways like she was a math test I hadn't studied for. So, I decided to take a different approach. I made a list of potential candidates, which felt a lot like drafting a fantasy football team. First up was Mark, the star of the basketball team. He was tall, athletic, and had a smile that could light up a room. But then I remembered that he was also known for his ability to trip over air and miss free throws. So I crossed him off the list. Next was Lisa, the girl from my math class who had a knack for solving equations faster than I could find my pencil. But every time I tried to talk to her, I ended up sounding like a babbling idiot. Crossed off. Then there was Dave, my best friend, who had the personality of a wet sock. While he was great for moral support, I didn't think showing up to prom with him would exactly scream cool. As the days passed, I felt the pressure mounting. My friends were all getting dates, and I was still sitting here like a sad puppy in a pet store window, just waiting for someone to take me home. I tried to channel my inner Casanova, but the only thing I could muster was a half-hearted, "Hey, want to go to prom?" that came out more like a question about whether she wanted ketchup on her fries. Finally, desperation set in. I decided to take a leap of faith and just ask Sarah directly. I practiced in front of the mirror, rehearsing my lines like I was auditioning for a role in a Shakespearean play. "To prom or not to prom, that is the question," I'd say dramatically, only to realize that I sounded more like a dork than a romantic hero. So the day came. I walked up to her, heart racing, palms sweaty, and just blurted it out. "Sarah, will you go to prom with me?" I braced myself for the rejection, but instead, she smiled and said yes. I nearly fainted right there. In that moment, I realized that finding a date for prom wasn't just about the elaborate plans or the perfect proposal. It was about having the courage to ask, even when it felt like jumping off a cliff without a parachute. So here's to prom, the awkwardness, the laughter, and the unforgettable memories. Because even if it's a disaster, at least it'll make for a great story to tell at the reunion.